There was a little more hustle and bustle near the SDF-1 and its surrounding base this morning, as a massive operation was underway to launch the elite hand-picked team of veritech fighters and specialists out into the frontier of deep space. This special operation they were to embark on was one of utmost importance and utmost secrecy. Despite the seriousness of the moment, Rick Hunter couldn't help but be a little giddy to be heading back into space, surprised to find himself actually kind of homesick for it. He and the other veritech fighters launch ahead of the crewed shuttle, as they all achieve orbit around the Earth, rendezvousing with a ship nearly 10 times the size of the SDF-1. A ship we recognize as the personal flagship of Zentraedi Commander BREETAI. Rick can't help but be flooded with memories of that ship, and not necessarily fond ones. He's really just happy that this time they're being welcomed inside instead of having to break in like before.
Welcome aboard, Micronians.
Thanks. It's nice to be here. The same to you too. Well, if you're ready, let's bring her down.
It was refreshing after handling the pockets of Zentraedi rebellion on the Earth to see this crew of giants working so closely and smoothly with their tiny Micronian allies. In fact, it appears this entire ship has been retrofitted to help house a Micronian crew. The excitement of seeing what the future of these two societies coexisting could be like helped fuel Rick's resolve that they were doing some good in the universe. As Lisa and Claudia disembark their shuttle along with Exodor, the small Zentraedi is happy to be personally welcomed by none other than his former Lord Commander, BREETAI.
My Micronian friends, welcome.
Greetings and salutations, your lordship. We're at your service.
It's good seeing you, Exodor, and it's nice to have you back on the ship.
Why, thank you, sir.
My friends, I especially wish to welcome you, and I am deeply honored to have you under my command.
It's a great honor, sir, to have this opportunity.
Thank you. As you may know, my people are unaccustomed to contact with beauty such as yours, so don't be surprised at any strange reactions. Now then, if you'll permit, I'll show you to your quarters.
Of course, this wouldn't be the first time Lisa and BREETAI had met exactly. But Lisa was pleasantly surprised what a noble gentleman this enormous warrior could be. BREETAI had fully embraced this alliance of Zentraedi and human culture, and it's wonderful to see a leader such as him commanding with grace, honor, and the kind of quiet dignity one in his position should embody. We find Max and Miriya engaging in a special operation all their own, as they lower what Max calls a cradle pod that looks rather cozy and comfortable inside. And good thing too, as we see Max retrieve from it his incredibly cute tiny daughter, Dana, all snug in her very own spacesuit and helmet. As Max lifts her up to see her mommy, you can feel the pride beaming off Miriya, looking down at her creation. BREETAI's command bubble had finally at some point removed the broken glass and fixed the rear display, but also had been fitted with workstations for Micronians and Micronized Zentraedi. Claudia goes over the last-minute checks with the Zentraedi crew, making sure all departments are ready, before informing the imposing commander that the ship is ready for its journey into reaches of space no human had yet to venture.
Hey, remember the last time we were on this ship? Being a prisoner wasn't much fun, was it? I'm sure glad things have changed. I don't want to see BREETAI on the other end of a laser cannon ever again.
it's not inaccurate to say that Rick and BREETAI had personally gotten off on the wrong foot together. But they had certainly come a long way since to truly see eye to eye. Seriously though, Max and Rick seem very happy to be in a very different circumstance this time within the Zentraedi vessel. In fact, in the Macross version of this scene, Max actually wants to throw a little get-together for the former prisoners of that adventure. He'd been looking for an excuse to show Miriya what a human house party could be like anyway, and he wasn't shy about wanting to show off some of his other skills.
一度ミリアにも地球のホームパーティーってのを見せてやりたいと思ってたんです。
料理はどうするんだい？
僕に任せてください。和風、洋風、中華風、どれでもリクエストに応じますよ。
お前ってまるでスーパーマンだな。
Max is definitely a man of many talents. Now, there is a scene here in Robotech where we get to look in once again on the Robotech Masters as they prepare their journey to the Earth system. We get a glimpse into their machinations as they attempt to clone a copy of the legendary Master Zor, and it's implied this is far from the first attempt. But it's a slow and plodding scene, meant to keep us prepped for the next upcoming arc of Robotech, and does little for the plot of this episode. Instead, I'd like to show you the scene from Macross that it replaced. It's an incredibly delightful scene that, if you've only ever watched Robotech, you've missed out on. And once you see it, you may realize why the folks behind Robotech were wary of showing it to the kiddos watching in the West. But I want to include it here in its entirety. Some of the names are a little different, but I think you savvy viewers can follow along no problem.
ねえミリア、コミリアちゃんちょっとだけ抱かせてくれない？
子供が抱きたかったら自分で作ればいいだろう。これは私が作った子供だ。
ミリア、そういう言い方は良くないよ。早瀬翔さんに抱かせてあげなさい。
わかった。翔さん、行きますよ。ほら。
なんてことするの？
怪我はないよね？
大丈夫ですよ。コミリアは骨格がしっかりしてますから。
だいたい戦場に子供を連れてくるなんて非常識も甚だしいわよ。
自分の子供ぐらいちゃんと守ってみせる。
あなた少しくらい戦闘能力が高いからってまるで人見知りしないのね。
本当？私にも抱かせて。
ダメ、私の方が先よ。
ケチ。
ダメ。
ほら、コミリアちゃん、レロレロバー。笑ってじゃない？ほら。
コミリアを捉えてミリア怒ってんじゃない？
心配ないですよ。あれはですね、自分の子供がチヤホヤされてるんで気分がいいって顔です。
そうか？
それより早瀬さんの方に気を使った方がいいんじゃないですか？ほら、あの嬉しそうな顔見てごらんなさい。赤ん坊が大好きでしょうがないんでしょうね。自分の子供だったらもっとすごいだろうな。早瀬さんの赤ちゃんだったら見てみたいと思いませんかね、一条大。
そんな目で見るなよ。
なに？男同士で内緒話？
そうそう、女には聞かせられません。
あら悔しい。さあミリア、こっちにいらっしゃい。女は女同士でパーッと賑やかにやりましょうよ。
そうか、昔のゼントラーティ軍のようだ。
え
I'm pretty confident the makers of Robotech didn't want to encourage kids to throw their baby brother or sister around the living room, so I imagine they omitted this scene for liability reasons. But it's not only an amazing glimpse into the life and relationship of Max and Miriya, we also get to see Max using his greatest superpower of all. I'm not talking about his prowess in battle, as awesome as that is. I mean his ability to see things, to see the truth of any person or any situation. He's always been supportive of Rick getting together with Lisa, realizing the trouble and turmoil Minmay inadvertently causes his buddy. He's often vocalized this, albeit gently, knowing that Rick and Lisa are kinda into each other, and he sees them as a good match.
I'm ready. It's your move.
Well, pucker up. It worked! Let's go! Wait, guys! It's not who you think. It's me, Max. Look! What a relief.
We thought you were dead.
Up you go. Now, hold on a minute, Ben. All right.
What's the idea?
We'll just put you in this pocket by yourself so you don't interrupt the lovebirds, huh? I don't see anyone coming. Boy, Lieutenant, you really had me fooled. I mean, well, maybe I'm speaking out of turn, but I thought you preferred younger women. Now you seem to like the more mature. But wait a minute, Max.
The only reason we did that was to escape.
Oh, mum's the word. I promise you won't hear me telling anybody about it when we get back to the base.
Now see here, Corporal.
If you two keep making so much noise, somebody's gonna notice us.
We both know that it was my instructions that were responsible for your being seriously injured.
Hey, has Minmay been here yet? Looks like she brought some real nice flowers.
Minmay hasn't been here at all. My room decorations came from Commander Hayes.
So what's wrong with that?
Come on, will ya?
We'll see you later.
That was nice of the lieutenant to bring flowers, wasn't it? He's been sitting at that table for over half an hour and he hasn't even touched his food. I'd better see if there's something I can do to help. Lieutenant, can I talk to you for a minute? It's too early to be depressed about this. I'm sure Commander Hayes will get back somehow.
First of all, I'm not even thinking about her, and secondly, what makes you think I'm depressed?
You might just need some kind of excitement to help distract you. How about a game? And I know just the place. Come on, let's go.
Huh?
And here he is, encouraging his friend to make a move and start that family. A decision that's made Max one of the happiest guys in the universe.
Oh, Max, look. She's so peaceful. Oh.
Yeah, but we better keep our voices down or she'll wake up.
But the indecisive Rick is bound to hem and haw over it for a bit longer, even as Lisa and Claudia conspire to further her progress with Captain Hunter, ready or not. The trio walk down to their own quarters, but outside of Lisa's, she asks to have a word with Rick inside, though she needs to finish a conversation with Claudia first. Rick is hesitant, worried what trap he may be falling into. But with a little nudging from Claudia, he gives in without further protest. The girls walk away with Lisa thanking Claudia for her advice and encouragement. And Claudia even adds a little more to Lisa's bag of courage before retiring herself for the night, kicking off her heels and hoping those two can finally get it together. In Macross, there's a little bittersweet moment here where she feels some regret after playing with Max and Miriya's baby, that she never got to have one with Roy. Inside of Lisa's quarters, Rick can't help but notice a framed photo of a young teenage Lisa with a very innocent smile on her face. Not exactly like the stern soldier she was when he'd first met her, all business and commanding. It seems a little funny at first that Lisa would card a photo of her ex-fiancé with her on a mission across the galaxy, but I had always assumed that maybe she'd brought it with, in anticipation of this chat with Rick she hoped to have on this journey billions of miles away from anywhere anyone had ever even heard of Lin Minmay. Maybe she'd hoped to open this discussion by telling Rick about Carl Reber and how when he died, she'd closed off her heart to spare herself of ever having to feel such grief again. A grief that seemed probable if she fell in love with another military officer and he were to be killed like Carl. And maybe she would have told Rick that despite those reservations, she found herself willing to open her heart again, now, with him. And then see how he reacted and go from there. As Lisa enters her own quarters, she's a little thrown that Rick is looking at that personal photograph. But for as embarrassed as he is, feeling like he was caught snooping, she lets him off the hook, extending a certain warmth and inviting him to look around, feeling she had nothing to hide from him. She makes some tea and sits down with him, but he already seems nervously defensive about whatever she has to discuss with him, probably out of old habit more than anything else. She understands and does her best to help him relax and lower his guard. And really, just as she's about to lead into whatever talk with him she'd rehearsed in her head.
Rick, you know what
Captain Hayes, please report to the bridge immediately. Captain Hayes to the bridge.
The usual perfect timing. Well, you've managed to escape unscathed once again. Goodbye, Rick. We'll try again another time.
The important matter that called Lisa to the bridge was the discovery of the wreckage of a reconnaissance craft, one that had recently become wreckage, alluding to a hostile reception waiting for them when they reach the factory satellite itself. Lisa makes the case to investigate further, wondering if some of the crew may still be alive, needing help. But Exodore confirms zero biological life signs, and is wary to do any further investigation, convinced this ship may possibly be booby-trapped, the same way the SDF-1 originally was. Even Claudia agrees that their current mission is too important for such risks, and Lisa reluctantly concedes, before BREETAI orders another spacefold, leaving behind the ominous portent of the derelict ship. Some time later, BREETAI's ship defolds in the vicinity of the target of their mission, the truly awesome ROBOTECH Factory Satellite.
My dear colleagues, we have arrived.
That's incredible. I've never seen anything like it in my entire life.
Whatever power that created that must be amazing. It's hard to believe that such a thing exists at all.
Well, all I can say is you better believe it.
Lisa reiterates the importance of Max and Miriya's part in this next step of the plan, as Max calmly confirms, while he and Miriya are lifted up to the flight deck, their red and blue veritechs armed with powerful strike packs. BREETAI then bids Exodore to summon Captain Hunter to the bridge. Lisa is surprised by this, wondering why in the world he'd want Rick to come up here at this time.
Captain Hayes, I must apologize for not having informed you sooner, but are you aware of the necessity for diversion to throw off the satellite tracking personnel?
Yes, sir, I support the diversionary tactic, but weren't you proposing to use Min-Mei? I thought we were going to broadcast her voice.
Correct. However, we have devised a small modification.
Your lordship, that was your plan from the beginning, was it not?
Exodore, your modesty equals your intelligence. Captain, we have decided that the kiss would be a more effective counterattack. Don't you agree?
I suppose so.
I'm sure you recall the extraordinary effect produced when you and Captain Hunter touched lips.
Lisa? Oh, come on. Can't you see it's a brilliant plan? Nothing to get upset over.
Lisa was certainly not averse to the idea, really, but she knew Rick well enough to understand how conflicted he would feel about it all. Max and Miriya were headed off together towards the Zentraedi fleet guarding the ROBOTECH factory when BREETAI is hailed by the fleet's leader, Commander RENO. RENO is suspicious of BREETAI and his intentions, but BREETAI dispels those suspicions by directly, confidently, asking for RENO's immediate surrender. RENO finds this amusing, and as he and BREETAI banter back and forth almost like old friends, Rick finally enters the bridge, reporting as ordered. He's welcomed by BREETAI as Lisa approaches him, and BREETAI has his own view screen camera zoom in directly on the pair, knowing that merely seeing a male and female in such proximity to each other would stir certain consternations within RENO. And he's right. RENO is somewhat alarmed and even curious at what BREETAI is playing at. BREETAI cryptically leads RENO to believe that he's in for quite a shock. Rick is just starting to understand what they're all alluding to, and why Lisa is looking at him like that. He actually starts protesting this plan. Max and Miriya are monitoring the entire exchange as they stealthily close in on RENO's vessel, Max finding the situation rather amusing, as Miriya chimes in to ask Max why Rick wouldn't want to kiss when it was such an enjoyable activity. As Rick and Lisa's argument escalates in classic Rick and Lisa fashion, Exodore sees the time is right to initiate the Minmay attack, broadcasting one of her biggest hits on all frequencies across the fleet.
No, Lisa, I'm telling you, I'm not gonna consent to the kiss. Orders or no orders. I'm sorry, but my mind is made up.
Stage lights flashing, the feeling smashing.
Blast it! No more! Please turn it off!
It's unbelievable, Lisa.
Well, Reno, perhaps this will please you. What? A male and female touching lips? Can't be! It's impossible! I can't watch anymore! Turn off the monitor! That display gained you nothing.
Lisa certainly seemed more eager for this kiss than the first one they'd shared on this ship a few years before, and Rick certainly ceased protesting once their lips touched, undoubtedly feeling that spark between them ignite in a blaze as it had before. But there was little time to think about it all, as the next phase of their multi-part plan was about to unfold.
Contact in 3 seconds.
You can only hope.
Reno's command deck was suddenly under attack, assaulted by 2 Micronian craft landing in perfect tandem. They are immediately surrounded by armed Zentraedi, who order these Micronians to exit their craft and surrender. But one of these pilots isn't a Micronian at all. Max wishes his wife luck as Miriya opens her canopy, removes her helmet, and sternly declares she is no Micronian, but a micronized Zentraedi warrior. Reno recognizes the famous Miriya Perino and calls her by name. Miriya proceeds to introduce the officer of the Earth forces to her left, Max Sterling, whom she refers to as her mate. Reno is confused by the term, and Max, with cool, calm concern in his voice, asks Miriya to explain it to them.
Ow! But this is impossible!
When the 12 moons, that thing is deformed!
Oh, what is it? It moves!
Miriya proceeds to explain what an infant is, proudly and lovingly describing how it was created within her own body, by her and her mate. As she describes further the process of creation and the power found in love, the Zentraedi begin to drop their weapons in shock, while Miriya raises up her daughter for all to see, causing the giant warriors to shrink back, worried that whatever created this little monster might be contagious. They all finally bolt and run from the chamber, quickly spreading word of this infectious disease of the Micronians. Even Reno runs to find shelter from this threat. On his ship, BREETAI allows himself a moment of good-humored satisfaction at the visceral reactions his former peers were having at this Micronian culture, as were Claudia and the rest.
I can't imagine why they reacted like that. I think Max and Miriya's baby is very cute, don't you? Stop it, Claudia.
None of you should underestimate the opposition's capability. All fighters prepare for immediate attack.
All personnel report to battle stations immediately. Red alert. This is not a drill. Repeat, red alert. All veritech fighter groups to launching platforms. Skull Squadron up first, followed by blue, green, and brown.
Skull Squadron, you are go.
Repeat, you are go.
Roger, Command. Liftoff positive.
An immense attack force is mobilized from BREETAI's ship, armed to the teeth and eager to accomplish their mission. A mixed force of Earth's best and friendly Zentraedi alike, headed to quickly take advantage of the disorder and disarray in RENO's fleet. RENO is meeting resistance from his own officers to counter this attack, as they're now all completely shaken and afraid of Micronian contamination from whatever that tiny thing was. While RENO yells at his men to move out, none of them are paying attention to BREETAI's own ship closing in on theirs, firing a full barrage to destroy the entire front end of RENO's vessel, killing him and throwing his command structure into even greater confusion. Rick and the Skull Squadron fly into the thick of it, aiming to use torpedoes meant to disable the Zentraedi ships guarding the factory satellite, instead of reflex warheads to obliterate them. Miriya and Max meet up with the rest of the Skull Squadron as Dana gleefully sits on Miriya's lap while her mommy goes to work. To this enemy fleet, it was utter chaos, with missiles flying everywhere, unsure of who was friend or foe. While BREETAI's forces decimate whatever resistance they met, the importance of their mission to the future of Earth and their alliance with BREETAI's people being absolutely paramount. They, along with the veritechs, maneuver the enemy pods into range of BREETAI's secret weapon, a neutron cannon. A reworking of many of the smaller guns on the mighty flagship to fire some mostly invisible particle beams at the enemy craft, which Lisa declares are all within sight of this new weapon. BREETAI orders the neutron cannon to fire, and we witness as it shreds any and all remaining resistance in the path of BREETAI's ship, on its way towards its new prize, the ROBOTECH Factory Satellite. Any remnants of RENO's fleet immediately surrendered, and BREETAI commands Exodore to issue a mandate that all Zentraedi who wish to are welcome to join BREETAI's forces and help in their cause. As if they had much choice now, but it's clear that BREETAI wishes not to destroy the remaining Zentraedi in the galaxy, but invite them to partake in this new alliance with the Micronians. As they enter the factory, they direct the ship closer to the reflex engines of the satellite itself. For several days, they prepare the ROBOTECH factory for transport to the Earth system, finding it necessary to connect the fold engines of BREETAI's own ship in order to control the massive complex on such a long journey through folded space. Once the system is properly set up, they engage the enormous reflex engines of the station and activate a hyperspace fold, knowing the factory wasn't designed for such a journey, hoping the entire thing holds together. It takes a lot of monitoring and a fair amount of time as they try to keep the balance of power needed to undertake this voyage, but BREETAI keeps a positive outlook, encouraging his worried subordinates with his confidence in them, until Exodore announces their re-entry into the Earth sector.
As you Micronians would say, we've made it. My dear colleagues, it is good to be back home.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, very good, sir.
It says a lot that BREETAI would refer to the Earth as home in the plural possessive use of the word, almost a declaration of his devotion to keeping the planet safe. They had succeeded in their mission to claim the factory satellite for Earth's own, and soon, the building of the Earth's future would commence as they prepared to expand the culture and influence of Earth out into the galaxy. capture of the Robotech Factory finally marked the end of Volume 5. And what a volume it had been! Starting with the first date of Max and Miriya, leading to their wedding, which influenced the alliance of BREETAI's fleet with the humans, as they banded together to defeat the fleet of Dolza and his millions of ships, all with the power of music and love. The Earth had suffered a great calamity, but the people of Macross and the SDF-1 had begun to rebuild society, reaching for that brighter future and greater heights than mankind had ever reached before. It was so amazingly epic to my 8-year-old eyes, and yet it was late, and those eyes were ready to close as the VHS tape of Volume 5 reached its end. My brother and Bash would stay up all night to watch Volume 6 and finally witness the ending of the Macross saga. But I was headed straight for bed to dream of my own adventures with the SDF-1 and her crew. But you'll never guess what I did as soon as I woke up the next morning. And watching that last stretch of the saga and its ending all by myself is a whole other story to tell.